Assalamu alaikum. Now today we will start animal tissues. Animal tissues are broadly categorized into four categories: epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue, and nervous tissue. Now let's start with epithelial tissue. So epithelial tissue, they are the tissue which made the outer covering, you can say, which made the protective covering. So they are closely packed cell with no intercellular spaces. So because they have to make a continuous layer to protect the underlying part, so they are compactly packed with no intercellular spaces. Epithelial tissue can be present in a single layer or can be present in many layer or multi-layer. So if they are present in the single layer, they are known as simple epithelium, and if they are present in many layers, then they are known as stratified epithelium. Epithelial tissue, and the function of the epithelial tissue is to cover the external body surface. Means this function is to protect the underlying parts, and another function is to absorb, like in lining of the small intestine, they the function is to absorb the nutrient from the digested food. And this epithelial tissue, their function can be secretion. The epithelial lining of digestive glands and endocrine gland, they secrete useful secretion. Exchange of material also occur through the epithelial lining, as we know that the gases are exchanged in the alveoli. So where it is exchanged, means oxygen and carbon dioxide, they are exchanged with the blood. That is actually the epithelium of the alveoli. So epithelial cells of the alveoli, where the exchange of gases occur. So they are epithelial tissues further categorized into four categories: squamous epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium, ciliated columnar epithelium, and cuboidal epithelium. Squamous epithelium, they are flattened, as you see here. They are flattened, polygonal, and they are closely fitted together. And if you see, they just look like tiles of a floor. So they are closely or compactly packed, and they are flattened. So because of that, they just look like tiles of a floor. So it is found on the skin and in the lining of blood vessels. It consists of thin flattened cells that form protective layer, as I showed you here in this picture. Another category is columnar epithelium. Columnar means pillar-like. So it is formed of tall pillar-like or the brick-like cylindrical cells, laying side by side. As you see here in this picture, they are laying side by side. Their length is more than the width. They just look like pillar because of their length is more, and the nucleus is centrally located. And if we see from the means the front, not front, surface view, if we see, like this is the surface view, upper one, it's like a polygonal shapes. So actually they are the columnar. They are elongated cells with the centrally located nucleus. But when you see from the surface view, then they are just compactly arranged polygonal cells, and it is present along the lining of the stomach and a small intestine. So it's present in a lining of the stomach and in small intestine, where absorption and secretion take place. Now the third category is ciliated columnar epithelium. As we see here in name, ciliated and columnar. So ciliated means cilia. So they must be having cilia at their free end, and columnar, so their shape is like column, like pillar, or they are elongated. So it consists of columnar cells with cilia on their free surface. Function of cilia is to push the material which is present in the tract, like they are present in the trachea. So they push air, these hair like structure which are present at the free end, they push the air which is there in the windpipe. So its function is to propel or push the substances within the tract. Now the last category of the epithelium is cuboidal epithelium. So here as you see, these cells are cube-like. It's made up of cuboidal cells. Here the cells are cuboidal, which are more or less square shape. Here you can see, and they are of equal height and width. And if we see the surface view like this, we see that they look like polygonal, means the shape is polygonal if we see from the surface, and the nuclei are round in shape and lie in the center of the cell. See here, the nuclei is lie in the center of the cell. It is present along the wall of the salivary gland. Now here is a fact file. The outermost layer of human skin is made up of epithelial tissue, and the main structural component of the layer is keratin. It gives toughness to the skin, means the toughness of the skin is because of the keratin, and makes it waterproof and also protect it from damage. So it gives strength and it makes the skin waterproof, and it protects from the damage. In the beginning of this topic I told you, if these cells are present in multi-layer, then they are known as stratified epithelium. So here you just see that many layers are there, they are the multi-layer, so it is a stratified epithelium. And simple epithelium I have shown you, if they are in one layer, like they are unicellular layer, so simple epithelium. And this is stratified epithelium found in skin and the cornea. Now fluid connective tissue. Here the another topic is fluid connective tissue. Why the name given fluid to it? Because the matrix is fluid. So it is categorized into two categories, blood and lymph. So blood, as we know, is a red colored fluid that flows through the blood vessels within our body. So means we know that we studied this in 4th class, that blood is a red color substance, you can say, or fluid that flow in the blood vessels. Blood vessels, they are of 3 types: arteries, veins and capillaries. So it flows inside the blood vessels. So it carries its blood what you can say, blood play a very important role in survival of an organism. It's very important constituent of life, because you know it carries oxygen and nutrient to the different tissue and cell of the body. Means it's the carrier of oxygen and carbon dioxide within the body. As we know, without oxygen we cannot survive. Means continuous supply of energy needed for the survival of an organism. So this continuous supply of energy is possible because of oxygen. Means if every cell gets continuously oxygen, then only it gets energy, and then the organism can survive. So here this function to carry the carbon dioxide and oxygen within the blood to the within the body to every cell, to and from the every cell. Means like in every cell, when the respiration is for the respiration, oxygen is needed, and when as a result of respiration carbon dioxide is released, that is also to be carried and to be exhaled out. So function of blood, or you can say especially red blood cells, their function is to carry oxygen to the cell, and from cell to the lungs, to carry the carbon dioxide from every cell to the lung, because that is also very important to exhale out carbon dioxide. If carbon dioxide will not be exhaled, then it's more amount of carbon dioxide will be poisonous, and person can be fatal, or organism can be fatal. So this blood is the carrier of carbon dioxide as well as oxygen. It carry the different nutrient, means whatever is there needed for the body, that all is carried by the blood, whether it is hormone, salts, nutrient, they all are carried by the blood only. And not only the nutrients, salts, and the useful substances, of course the metabolic waste also, it carry the metabolic waste from each cells, so that it can be excreted out. And that's very important. If the waste substances would not be excreted out, then the person would be fatal. Blood is having major two components. One is plasma and another is blood cells. So plasma is actually the straw colored fluid. So this fluid is actually the matrix, and because of it the name given fluid connective tissue. So which contain about 90% water, means if plasma is around